Hello and welcome to Friday Night Access, your portal into all things Phoenix Press, comics, and beyond. Join us, join us as we take our journey with our regular hosts, Nick Gibson and Garrison Brown. Joining us once again is very special guest, Jason Johnson. Join us on this special pre-recorded episode as we tell you the progress, our influences, and how much Nick really likes Stranger Things.
And for
Okay,
only $2.99 a minute.
I will kill you. I will kill you and your cat.
Ha! Joke's
Not
on
his
you. I
fault.
don't have a cat.
Not his
I will
fault
kill
you like
your
such
random
strange-
cat.
It's fault that you like such strange.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god! Why do I have to be in this into the Stranger Things? I don't
Okay.
get it.
Oh.
This weird shit.
Oh,
Alright.
we should
so-
probably address the pre-recorded thing first, though. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
So so welcome everyone to this special edition of Friday Night Access. Like I have mentioned, and my very animated co-host Garrison has mentioned, this is pre-recorded. This is due to me kind of doing a goof where I'm actually going to be working the Wyandotte Street Fair this week. So if anyone from the Michigan area wants to come by and tell me how much I suck, please feel free. But also while you're there, buy some lemonade. If you are hearing this, I'm slinging lemonade currently. So basically, I'll be in two places at once. The glory of pre-recording. But the only difference is, while it's pre-recorded, it will be unedited.
with our raw opinions.
Yes, it's so raw. It just came out of the ground.
Mm.
So to start things off, I figured we'll do our usual spiel of giving progress. Garrison, could you tell everyone the progress you have on the coloring?
Not a damn thing more. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just working on the shading still, and actually, I've just transitioned over into doing the brighter shades and the highlights and whatnot.
Oh, you've transitioned. Congratulations.
Yeah, I finally come out of the closet.
Oh, I thought you got the surgery. Surgery.
That too.
Well, congratulations. I'm happy for you. Now you can finally be who you are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I came out of the closet and had the transition at the same time, so somehow I still wound up being straight.
Yeah, it's weird how that works. Jason, how are you doing on page 4?
So far, page 4 is coming along pretty smoothly. I'd say it's about 10% ahead of where it was last time. Somewhere around 60.
60%?
It's gonna be it's gonna be a little bit longer to get it done than I had anticipated at first, but nothing, alarmed.
Yeah, you're still well in line, like the G you are. Now, as for the general goings on of Phoenix Press, we are currently looking into starting a Patreon. So if that's something you're interested in, comment on it, and I'm sure Garrison will relay it to me.
Mm-hmm.
Just got to cross some T's, dot some I's, and we'll probably have some more info on that. Also, we're also thinking about doing artist streams, so people like Garrison or Jason can stream them coloring, asking questions, and you can get more up close and personal with them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, I love the way you reacted. So, for this very special pre-recorded episode, I figured we'd speak about our influences in general, both in general as well as what inspired for how we do Project Accent. Garrison, would you like to be the first one of honor?
For the inspirations and whatnot.
Yes, sir.
Let's see. Well, if we're talking like current inspirations, I don't know. That's really hard to say because like I had inspirations that got me started, and
Oh, what are they?
well, let's see. Basically, like the types of stories I love are the ones where it's all about the characters and like the and the real struggles they go through. So stuff that's primarily just, high octane fighting. I can't really get into fighting, but if you tell me a really good slice of life story, I will just love it to bits. That's why
So you're not into all that kung fu fighting?
yeah, not a bit. Yeah, but stuff like Clannad and its extension, Clannad After Story. Those of you who have watched it will totally get it. That thing broke me down and influenced a huge part of my life.
You
So
must
stuff
really
like that.
like Naughty Dog games.
Naughty Dog games. What?
Like Uncharted, Last of Us.
I have watched a playthrough of Last of Us, and it was really good. I haven't seen anything for Uncharted though. I think that's just stuff I haven't touched.
Yeah, they're basically like Indiana Jones style stories. There's 3 games.
I
But
thought there was
highly
like 4.
There's 4, yes. I was
Okay.
thinking of PlayStation 3, but there's the 4th one is for PS4.
Mhm.
But they're really good. If you like Last of Us, I really think you should try out the Uncharted series because it's the exact same kind of style of gameplay and storytelling.
Yeah. I hear that Uncharted is basically what Assassin's Creed is supposed to be.
I wouldn't know about that. To me, Uncharted is more just an Indiana Jones kind of event. It's more of like an adventure. It's like
Yeah,
you're watching an old school
swashbuckling.
swashbuckling adventure film in modern day.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to check them out at some point. Are they on Steam?
No, those are PlayStation games. So you need a PS3 or PS4.
Okay. Well, actually, I happen to have both of those, so that would work pretty well.
Oh! If we're talking about story games, you need to play Spider-Man PS4 and then God of War PS4.
I don't really want to play Spider-Man for the PS4.
Why?
Basically because like the standard superhero stuff doesn't really do anything for me. The only exception for that is those Marvel movies that had been coming out, like that were part of the the Thanos the Thanos thing.
Yeah.
Those were really fun, but I couldn't look at the characters and go, man, I really feel for this character.
Yeah. Have you ever seen any of the Raimi Spider-Man films?
No idea what those are.
Those are the original Spider-Man films from the early 2000s.
Were those the ones that like had what was it, the dorky Peter Parker and like all the memes made out of those?
Yeah. The thing is, the first 2 films, they really focus on character. Even the villains, especially Spider-Man 2. Like, Spider-Man 2 is still viewed as like one of the best superhero films of all time. And they really focus on the characters, especially like the villains.
Mhm.
So I think you'd like the first 2 Spider-Man movies.
It's possible, assuming I can get past my built-in like superhero stuff. Okay, hold on. Before we get sidetracked again. So basically, it was stories like that where it just breaks me down and makes me rethink my entire life. And that's just kind of what got me started into doing art stuff in general. Like, I want to get people thinking.
I can respect that. Jason, care to follow up that amazing speech? Oh my
Well,
God.
Jason has died. What about you?
Somebody get the hose clamps.
Somebody get me a car battery and some alligator clips.
Yeah, we'll put him. We'll clip him to his nipples and see how it goes.
Yeah, just jumpstart him again.
Yeah. Why did I have to hire a zombie as a penciler?
Oh, wait. Hold on. We have life?
Do we have life? And he died again. He died in my arms tonight. It must have been something I said.
Maybe he's having mic issues. Oh, wait.
maybe it's just your breath.
Oh!
He comes back.
Shots fired!
He comes back only to say maybe it's your breath.
He comes up swinging. The bitch comes up swinging. God damn, bro. Oof. I'm reeling from that one. Damn, that was a good one. Oof.
Anywho.
All right.
So you wanted me to speak about my influences?
Yes.
Well, it's kind of funny. My biggest influence, honestly, is probably my older brother.
Oh, really?
In reality. Yeah, he, especially the earlier parts of my life, talented. I don't know why he may not have done it. They're probably just in life. I always looked up to him when it came to, his skills. And he's the one who, by just comparison himself, me in my life at years old, I found some kind of, and actually applied my
desire to know more intensifies.
Yeah, definitely with him as, an unwilling kind of proxy. It's not like he was attempting, this was up. But yeah, he definitely got me mostly in, and as I grew, I got my own, became more or less about finding my own voice, art and stuff, and I really fell into anime probably around, I'd say about high school. It became the art style, the actual ways of doing things. So yeah. I mean, some of my bigger influences, especially as I got older, definitely Kira, and I had to go obviously back in time for that one.
Of course, Kira is awesome.
Kira is modern.
Oh, did you hear that they're developing a remake of Akira?
I hope all of them just fall off.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
I said, I hope they fall off the face of the earth before they get a chance. Just don't even touch it.
Okay, so basically
can't perfect perfection. So there's no point.
So your microphone is like cutting in and out, but the gist of it was basically that like your big brother was like really, really good at it, and so you were influenced by him, and then eventually like you said he kind of gave up on it, and then you wound up seeking to just find your own voice with the art stuff, and you fell into anime.
Yeah, he, for the most part, his lifetime. But yeah, by the time I had hit middle school, it was basically I was drawing just about as a coping and character.
Yeah, it was kind of an escape.
Well, yeah, definitely. Express So yeah, from there it just kind of turned into all sorts of things. I know me and him used to almost competitively draw comic books. Of course, his were actually good. His were really good. But yeah, we would do that, just, kind of feeding off each other here and there. It's kind of funny. He had a lot of good stuff and kind of just gave me the spark for it before I found my own book.
Nice.
Yeah, your brother sounds cool.
I want to meet this awesome dude.
He's pretty cool, yeah. He knocked me the hell out, but yeah.
Like a brother's supposed to do sometimes, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, similar thing with the anime. It kind of just broadened my horizon. There's all this stellar art out there. And a lot of Marvel comics early on, especially, were, just things that blew my mind. The art and the telling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So things like that. And, I don't know, over the years, I just continued to go on with the sake of after a while. It's kind of such second.
Oh, wow. now I have to follow up something else awesome. Wow. And Jason wins that round. Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're being scored?
Yeah, and you
Surprise.
won. Congratulations, you win a golden pony.
There should have been like burning kittens and child athletes suffer from autism or something. I don't know. It's not enough.
Okay, fine. Let me get the lighter fluid and I'll throw you some burning kittens. How about that?
I'll have to catch them.
What about burning doves,
we can do
though?
it.
What?
What about burning doves, though?
No. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to cut off the legs of one of the doves and then call it dubstep.
Oh my god, that's horrible.
It is. It's terrible. It is like the most terrible thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
Dubstep. Oh my god, I need to make that into a meme. I really do. Like, just like do like a video of like a dove just walking and put it to dubstep and say dubstep.
Only if you adequately Photoshop the image so that way like it's like total techno bird type thing going.
Oh my god, do I have to put it in a jacket, a snapback, and a blunt?
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know, maybe not blunt. That's like a different side of it. But yeah, you need to go like just the whole 9 yards.
What about the child support flip that he's running away from?
Oh. Ouch.
Oh my god, that was too far. I apologize. That okay, that was a little bit too far.
Anyways, moving right along.
Yes, please, before the pitchforks get a little bit too sharp.
What else do you have on your list?
Well, I haven't talked about my influences because I was all gracious and let you do it first.
Alright. So start talking, Nick.
Talk. Well, as far as my influences are concerned, in general, I'd really say Twilight Zone is a big influence on me. I grew up on that. DC Comics, in particular, the works of Devin Grayson, Chuck Dixon. Always was a fan of Nightwing, the Bat Family, Teen Titans. Love Teen Titans. Eagle-eyed observers of the Phoenix Press logo would notice that it resembles a certain other logo, and I can confirm that it was indeed intentional. Like, literally, I just said to Jason, hey, here's the Nightwing logo. Change it up so I don't get sued. I mean, it's not that drastic, but not too far off.
You can't admit to it, jeez.
I'm joking. But as far as Project Access is concerned, I've mentioned this before. But Project Access is influenced by two major properties: the Jason Bourne films and a television show from the mid-2000s called Kyle XY. Now, both of them deal with memory loss and just the regaining of the memories. In particular, there's one aspect of the Jason Bourne saga that really kind of got my wheels going. It's the fact that like his training would come back to him when he'd really need to. Like, for example, like a person would throw a nightstick at him, he'd catch it, and then he'd do these martial arts without even realizing it. And that kind of and I decided to kind of base something all around that, where you have this character named Gile who can do all this stuff and he doesn't even realize his full abilities. And while the memory trope is a little bit played out, I felt I could put a good, decent spin on it. So, yeah, the train is kind of running stale here. So, Garrison, say something.
Oh, no, actually, I was going to add in, like, that's kind of true for everything, though. Like, every story has been told. It's just what twists are you putting on it?
Yeah. Or what ingredients are you putting into it? Like, what meets what, basically, is how we pitch stories nowadays.
Yeah, what meets what, and then a huge factor of it is just the execution of it. Like, you can have the greatest concept in the world, but, you know, if you don't present it well, then it was all pointless. And conversely, there's been some stuff that I've seen where the idea of it was so completely awful, but it was put out there so perfectly that it's just amazing.
Zombies.
See, I haven't read that, but
I've seen the movie.
Yeah, you know what? If you think so, then yeah, let's roll with that.
I've only seen the movie, and I thought it was actually really good because they just kind of leaned into the ridiculousness of it. And I felt like it was pretty well done for what it is. They leaned a little bit more into the zombie aspect of it, but I still think it was pretty good.
Yeah, like
Victorian era zombie hunters. I mean, what's not to like?
Well, yeah, like I'd started watching a movie called Shazam.
Oh, Shaquille O'Neal.
I Is it Shaquille O'Neal? I don't know. It looks really recent.
Oh, you mean the superhero one?
Yeah, the superhero Shazam.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Yeah,
No,
I haven't
no
seen the
worries.
movie yet.
Like, I didn't even see the whole movie. I saw a part of it with a friend, and the opening of it, I looked and went, "Oh my god, why is this so cliched? Why is this so cliched?" Practically banging my head against the wall. But then I was like, "Wait, the CG in here is like actually pretty decent. Like it's way more decent than what I was expecting for the storylines that were presented to me." I was like, wait, the
Right.
cinematography is like really good too. What is this? And then they bring up the wizard, and again I'm like, wait, this looks like something straight out of Lord of the Rings. This looks so good. And then he has that cartoon lightning bolt on his chest, and I'm like, but like the thing is, and then like after the kid turns into the superhero after saying Shazam, he like they play it so well. Like I have to go back and watch the rest of it because they just like are constantly making jokes with it at the expense of this superhero. It's
Yeah, you might want to check out Aquaman. It's kind of similar, where it's a very kind of like um, Lion King kind of story, where like you have this person who is like destined to become king but doesn't want to be king, and has like a globe-trotting adventure. Like there is no fucking reason. I guess we just there's no freaking reason why it should work, but like somehow it does because like they play it straight, and also Jason Momoa's charisma really just kind of carries the movie.
okay. What'd you say it was called again?
Aquaman. It's very much kind of like a Lion King kind of like you must ascend the throne, but I don't wanna. You must ascend the
Octoman.
throne.
Wait, was
Okay,
this
fine,
in
I'll ascend the throne.
1971?
No, it came out a few years, like a year or two ago.
And it was not called Octoman.
Aqua.
Oh, Aquaman. Okay. I was hearing you say Octoman, and I was like, okay, I haven't heard of that. Okay, you're talking about the more recent Aquaman where, like, it had the really buff dude on the front, right?
Yeah, Jason Momoa.
Gotcha. Okay, I'll have to take a look at it then.
Yeah. Trying to think of oh, there's plenty of movies I could recommend to you that are like character based because that's kind of something I like. I have a very wide palette when it comes to movies.
Mhm.
Um, you've seen the first Matrix, right?
I have seen the first Matrix, and I think I saw one of the sequels.
The sequels are kind of hit and miss. Like Reloaded is, if you watch Matrix for like the big dumb action, Reloaded is great. It's got some story elements, but it's okay. Matrix Revolutions, that one actually falls kind of flat because it takes place mostly in the real world, and it has a lot. It just has a lot. A lot of the main characters kind of take a back seat for it. And it just really doesn't work. If you're into the Matrix story, I mean, it's fine, but other than that, it's just
What about the Animatrix?
it is really good. Really good animation. It's a lot of short. It's basically an anthology of like short stories.
Yeah,
The animation is amazing.
yeah, from what I heard, it was basically like a compilation of different like animations taking the Matrix story and like kind of doing their own little thing with it.
Yeah. Like there's a bunch of them. Like I know one of them is done by the Aeon Flux guy, Peter Chung. The episode Meticulated, that one's pretty good. World Record has a really good art style. Kid's Story has a really good art style. Like some of them is just like original stories, while some are tie in with certain elements of the story. Like in the sequels, there's this character named the Kid,
Mm-hmm.
and in the animation, it shows like how he got out of the Matrix. And then there is, but the big two ones are like the backstory of the Matrix, and it's like part one and two. And then there is Final Flight of the Osiris, which is a prequel to the game because they released a game called Enter the Matrix, which is crap.
Mm-hmm.
It has an okay story. Final Flight Osiris is basically like the inciting incident for the sequels.
Okay.
Because what they were doing with the Matrix sequels, they were trying to do like this big, like mass, like multimedia type of story, where like the complete story was told in multiple mediums. Because it was like Final Flight of the Osiris that led into Enter the Matrix, and then Enter the Matrix kind of like was like parallel to Reloaded, and then and then Reloaded basically makes reference to Final Flight of the Osiris, as well as characters from Enter the Matrix appear in the game, in the movie, and whatnot. It's really kind of an interesting experiment they did, because you really don't see like this was in 2003 when they were doing something like this, and not many kind of companies attempt something like that nowadays.
Yeah, so basically it's just like what we were saying, where like they had this really cool idea, but the execution was
Yeah, like if they, I've heard rumblings that they're going to try and make another Matrix movie. If they want to make a prequel, like there's plenty of story there, because this is kind of spoiler alert for a 15-year-old movie, but there's like 6 versions of the Matrix, each of them having a 1. So there's like plenty of story opportunity for a Matrix prequel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or just showing like how they wound up in that position, like how humanity got to that point.
Yeah, because there's a lot of lore that like basically the inciting incident for the entire Matrix saga was like a robot killed its masters, I think in self-defense, and it actually had a trial, and that led to protest and basically a giant war. It's interesting because like the entire Matrix story can be summed up as man relies on machines too much. Man gets screwed over by machines.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-bum.
We'll be right back. That was just too well done. Have you seen Dark City?
Dark City. What's that?
It's a late 90s movie. It actually has kind of somewhat similar things to The Matrix. And funny story is, Matrix actually uses some of the Dark City sets. Basically, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say like I'm not really much of a movie goer, so a lot of this stuff you'll reference, I'll probably be like, yeah, no idea.
Okay. As far as animation, the DC animated universe, like Batman the Animated Series, Batman Beyond, Justice League, they're really good. They have really good characters, so you might like that stuff.
I've watched Teen Titans, and I really liked that.
Okay, that's not exactly DCAU, but it's still really good.
Mm-hmm.
Check out Batman the Animated Series, because like that's a whole continuity, like the DC animated universe. It's like Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series. Then you have like Batman Beyond, Zeta Project, Static Shock, Justice League Unlimited. It's all one big continuity.
Yeah, I think when I was a kid, I watched Batman Beyond. Was that the one where like he basically had a skin tight suit and it was like this like edgier
Batman.
Looking one?
Yeah, it was Future Batman. That's actually one of my favorites.
Yeah, I remember liking it when I was a kid. It's just it didn't stick in my memory. All I know is that I saw it and that I liked it.
Yeah, you might want to go back and watch it. It was pretty good.
Yeah, assuming I have the time for like any of this though.
Yeah, because like there's actually a couple good like animated Batman movies, like Batman Mask of the Phantasm.
Mm-hmm.
Is really, 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 really good, and I recommend you watch it.
You recommend me so many things, though I can't watch all of them.
I know. It's almost like I want you to experience good media.
But I can't catch up on like 30 years worth of series and movies.
You can if you try hard enough.
Not at the cost of everything else.
Oh my god, so I did it. I catched up on 30 years worth of media. What did it cost you?
Everything.
I love that meme template. That's like one of my favorites.
Yeah, but like even though I haven't seen like all of the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, like I haven't completely seen Infinity War and Endgame either. Like just the memes. The memes are so good.
This is dark. I don't feel so good. But this does put a smile on my face.
Oh
Yeah.
no! Actually, hang on. Speaking of stuff, I am looking forward to. Like, Jason, have you seen any of the Katakawa Isekai anime?
No, actually, I haven't.
Okay, so like Konosuba, ReZero, Overlord, Yoja Senki. You haven't seen any of those?
I briefly started Overlord a while ago, but I actually kind of fell off after halfway through the second.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Because, like, I will very occasionally pick up an anime series to watch, and I done Yoja Senki, Konosuba. I picked up ReZero because nobody would stop talking about it. By the way, Rem is absolutely the best waifu. And then, like, I don't know, I kind of overlooked Overlord, and then thanks to the little mini series Isekai Quartet, I didn't even realize that they were by the same people. So now I'm like really like hyped up. I really want to see it because the Isekai Quartet basically took those 4 shows, took like the important characters in them, threw them all into like the most stereotypical Japanese high school, and like it's so funny seeing these characters interact. It's just so much fun. Because like it also helps that like, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it definitely sounds. I would like to look into it if I find it.
Yeah, and like I think the best part about it though is that like every single one of those shows is like a different genre. Like they have the same kind of setup, but the tones of the shows are just completely different. Like Konosuba is just a flat out comedy show. That's all it is. It can have dramatic moments, kinda, sorta, but they're much more interested in like drawing mustaches on each other's faces when they're asleep and stuff. And then you have Yogo Senki, or Yogo Senki, excuse me, or as it's known in the US, Saga of Tanya the Evil, which is just like this horrifying war story about like this psychopathic Japanese man that got taken to a World War I type of setting and like basically turns the entire war himself. And then ReZero, which is just drama the whole time. Well, not the whole time, because that would be boring, but like it's also good. Okay, I'll stop rambling.
No, please continue.
Well, if you
enjoying
insist.
The silence.
Nah. I've said my piece about Katakawa animation. It's all really good.
Okay.
You should definitely check some of it out.
All right, just nice. It's good to know that you've outed yourself as weeb trash.
Oh no, was that ever a question? Oh, here, let me put that to rest then right now. I am very much weeb trash, as I don't know if you could tell from my profile picture at all, but 100% weeb trash.
So if your profile picture marks you as weeb trash, then my profile picture must mark me as gamer trash. But what does that mark Jason as? Generic trash?
A Discord pleb.
That's really kind of you. I say non-technical. Not even.
You need a profile picture.
Need anything? I'm telling you who to.
Son, you need to set yourself. Like, you need to actually decide who you want to be in this world.
I want to rock.
There you go. There's my profile.
I got a rock.
Okay, I'll find you a picture of D. Snyder to have as your profile picture.
Excellent.
In full makeup.
No.
Yes, full makeup.
I want to run. We're not going to take it.
You do realize that for the next podcast, we're absolutely gonna have to have Jason with that as his profile picture.
Well, next time he's on, that's for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Next time he's on, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You're practically contractually obligated now.
Practically,
It
yes.
literally has to be the most generic rock possible. With like in color.
Well, if you want generic rock, I could always get you a picture of Chad Kroger.
So.
Oh, yeah.
And if you want dad rock, I can get you a picture of Dave Grohl.
Hey man, I'm in love with the food.
Hey, I'm in love with a stripper.
Are you sure? Because I'm in love with the shape of you. Also, here you go.
Baby.
What the? Oh, I can't do that.
Put two and two together.
Yeah, 2 + 2 = 4. Who would have thought?
Okay, we'll go with that.
So you guys been playing any
Found
video
it.
games lately? That I think we just found Jason's profile picture.
Oh.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Don't
Do it. Do it.
Do it.
All right, Papa.
Just do it.
Okay.
Over the interwebs.
Sorry, what was that?
So I've been see here today. I've been playing a bunch.
Just that way the people can see what we're talking about. There we go. That is the absolute best picture for him. Okay.
Yeah, he needs to get into that generic rock.
Yes, the most generic rock. Okay, but I'm sorry. What were you saying? No.
So let's see here. I've been really getting into my Pokemon Silver run, doing I was getting the urge to play some Pokemon. I was playing some AC4 earlier.
Original Silver? Original Silver or Soul Silver?
Yes, original. I do own Soul Silver, but my 3DS is put up right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you on an emulator?
No, my GBA.
Oh.
Yes, I have a GBA SP 101. I'm awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, right? Ain't I awesome?
Okay, that's pretty baller though. You gotta admit.
I mean, if we're gonna be honest, it's cool, but like, they're not that expensive.
Yeah, but it's still really baller though.
It's really bright, I can tell you that much.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, you could have just done an emulator. You could have just, like, had it on the computer, blah, blah, blah. No, you explicitly went out, got yourself a Game Boy Advance SP.
Not exactly. I've had it for a while.
Oh, you've had it?
Yeah, I think I bought it at a garage sale years ago for like $8. Like, I'm probably talking like 4 years ago, and
don't those things sell for like $40?
Yeah, but I was really big into game hunting way back when, and I actually got some really good deals. Probably the best game I've ever owned in terms of like rarity was Panzer Dragoon Saga, disc only. I think at the time I paid like $200 for it, and it was going for like $300-400 at the time.
What's it going for nowadays?
Probably a lot more, maybe less.
Oh shit! Do you still have it?
Oh no, I sold it. Basically, when I sold it, I had gotten like fed up with dealing with people, because like in the retro game community, your value in the community is determined by like what rare games. Like for example, oh, I have Earthbound, I have Snatcher, I have Stadium Events. I'm awesome. It was basically like a giant dick measuring contest, and where the size of your dick was like what rare games. So it was gatekeeping as all hell. So you had to have rare games to have your voice taken seriously in the retro game community at the time. And I was just like, I just got frustrated dealing with people, and so I sold the game. And I still kind of collect older games, but it's more just I just buy games I like. I don't collect just to collect anymore. I still have some rare-ish games, like I have Tumba 2 Complete, which that one goes for a little bit of money, like $60-70.
That's
and
not
then
bad.
I have some Soul Silver, my copy of Soul Silver is complete. That one goes for about 100. Some rare DS games, and then some PSP stuff.
I hate that DS games are rare, or like some of them are rare. Like which
Well,
ones are you talking about?
Let's see here. I have Front Mission complete. Um, Alien Isolation. That one kind of came out towards the end, so that's fine.
For the DS?
Yeah, it's like a Metroidvania type game. It's really good, actually.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, it came out like right at the tail end of the DS's life cycle. And then the Front Mission port is actually really good. That one's kind of rare. Yeah, I used to have a bunch of other really rare games. Like I had all the Digimon games for PS1. I used to own a bunch. I still have my Sega Genesis, but I don't really have. I used to own some really rare Sega Genesis games. Like I had a complete Castlevania Bloodlines, Shadowrun. Let's see here. Some of the other like. Used to own a Dreamcast. Have had some semi-rare games for that. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I used to own a Master System. Didn't really own anything really rare for that. Used to own a Super Nintendo. Had some N64. Used to have some decently hard to get Super Nintendo games like Super Mario RPG for Super Nintendo. Stuff like that.
Yeah, lots of stuff.
Yeah. I don't really collect. Well, money is also a factor. Probably the most like oddest game I have is Police Knots for PS1. That's actually a Japanese exclusive.
Oh, imported?
Yeah, import. It was developed by Hideo Kojima, and it influenced.
Wait, did you just
Metal
call
Gear
him
Solid.
Hideo Kojima?
Should I not be?
Hideo Kojima?
Oh. Well, it was made by Hideo Kojima, and it influenced Metal Gear Solid. Like, for example, the character Meryl originally appeared in Police Knots. And also, like, you know how, like, when you boot up Metal Gear Solid for PS1, when the Konami logo, you get... That's actually the Police Knots theme. And in Metal Gear Solid, you can actually find a Police Knots poster.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, he does, like, referencing his other games a lot.
Yeah, like, it never came out in America. I think at one point it was in development for the Saturn, but some people fan translated it. I think they eventually translated the Saturn version as well. It's basically kind of like a point-and-click adventure type game. It's actually pretty cool. It's a kind of like a sci-fi Lethal Weapon kind of game.
The question was what games we're playing right now, right?
Yeah.
Or like something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Jason, have you had any free time to play games?
I have had absolutely zero free time to play any game.
You know,
Yeah, but
sounds about right.
Between his kids driving him crazy and me driving him crazy, he has no sanity left.
Oh man, I was hoping I could sneak in there and drive him crazy too.
Pretty accurate so far. And no, you may not, Mr. Gibson, but thank you for asking.
Yeah, we gotta peek behind the curtain. We just gotta peek behind the curtain.
I've been playing a bit more of League of Legends lately, especially their new. I hesitate to call it a game mode because they're trying to basically say it's a totally different game, which, in all fairness, it is. It is a different game. It just happens to use the same characters, and is also in the League of Legends client, and has the same items.
Is it a battle royale?
No, actually, it's more in line with like auto chess stuff. It's
Auto chess?
Yeah, auto chess. Basically the gist of it is like you have your units, they have their special traits, and then like there's huge randomness to it because you don't know exactly what units will be available to you. But you have to be like, okay, so I have a pretty good chance of getting this later on if I do this, and it's just stuff like that. And then it also depends on what items you randomly get, because that makes a huge impact on what you can do. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and It is definitely a different game,
Okay.
but you can't say it's completely separate from League of Legends.
Yeah, I haven't really been playing many PC games because my keyboard's on the fritz. I got a new keyboard on the way. Once that's here, I should probably start playing Shadow Warrior again towards the end of that. Just waiting for next month to roll around. Well, end of next month, Classic WoW. I'm pretty hyped for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Like,
remember you talking to me. The classic WoW is like a really big thing for everybody.
For a lot of people, anyway. I wouldn't say everybody, but yeah, for a lot of people, it's a big deal. Because they're basically re-releasing the original version of World of Warcraft. It's commonly referred to as vanilla, though I think more people are starting to call it classic.
Yeah, because the other stuff isn't mods; it's just more stuff. It's expansions.
Yeah, like the expansions. Like, for example, the current World of Warcraft expansion is Battle for Azeroth, which has been having a lot of problems. They're really too numerous to get into, and I've kind of stopped playing Battle for Azeroth for a variety of reasons. The game itself is only one of them. But I'm really looking for towards Classic, because fresh start, vanilla World of Warcraft, and plus the leveling itself was part of the game experience. So I should get a lot of solo content out of it, which makes me excited.
Yeah. Now, would you say that the whole classic, World of Warcraft thing, does it justify them shutting down those vanilla servers, however long ago that was?
The Nostalgia stuff. See, when it comes to that sort of thing, I very much lean on the enforcing copyright side. It's kind of like the same thing when people cry when like Nintendo shuts down a project. Like, you're making a sequel to Super Mario RPG. Like, yeah, it's cool, but you're kind of using someone else's property, and they have full rights. Do I wish they would bring them on and make it official? Yeah, that would be.
Yeah, Sonic Mania.
Christian Whitehead, he is amazing. Yeah, actually, the story that led to Sonic Mania is actually really fascinating. I think you kind of alluded to it, where Christian Whitehead, he created like a custom Sonic CD engine, and Sega ended up using it for like a mobile game, and that started a whole like kind of like relationship with Chris Whitehead and Sega, and then Sega kind of decided to let him create his own Sonic game. He formed his team, and he ended up creating probably the greatest Sonic game in the past 10 plus years.
Yeah, I heard that like the story behind Sonic Mania was just like really, really, really good, especially in the face of so many companies like Nintendo's and everybody just taking down so many fan projects that they weren't even like all these fan projects weren't even looking to make money, were they?
Well, it's not the fact that they're not making money. It's the fact that they're using someone else's intellectual property, and the thing is, if you allow too many people to use your property unabated, you lose your rights to that copy. Like, for example, if Nintendo allowed everyone to make Mario fan games, after a while they just lose the ability to enforce the Mario copyright. Does that mean alternate paths could be opened? Yeah. Like for example, like I mentioned before, they could do a creator program and allow people to create stuff. I mean hell, with as long as it takes to translate stuff, just basically farming out to the fan translation scene would solve a lot of problems with games. There's so many fan translation projects where if the company wanted to take the fan translation, the fan translator would just give it to them. I hear there's some legal issues with doing that kind of thing. I'm not for certain, so don't quote me on it. But like, it's just I wish they'd work with them, but I fully understand why these companies do that sort of stuff.
Right. I was just trying to think, like, I know, because how do I put this? I could have sworn that like there was some clause that basically says that if the entire thing is non-profit and doesn't like directly rip it off, like that it was okay. Or yeah, I'm wording it poorly, but you kind of get what I mean.
I know. Yeah, I haven't
Where
heard
like,
anything like that. I know fair use itself is rather murky. Like
mm-hmm.
that's kind of one aspect where I am with the creators. Like fair use is like pretty cut and dry. Like commentary, criticism, or review. Like I'm actually with the creators. Like when they talk about like fair use, like the people,
I think
like
parody was also one for that, right?
yeah, but parody is a little. It's not quite what I'm trying to get at here. Like like the internet people who like the nostalgia critic type people,
Mm-hmm.
the angry video game nerd people, like they're fully within their legal right to do what they're doing. Um, in my opinion, fair use is pretty cut and dry, and the companies like just taking it down like that. I find it to be that like you want to get on companies for doing that, sure. You want to call them the company scummy, sure, I'm right behind you. But like fan projects, it's kind of not the same thing because you're creating an original work, and you're not like critiquing it. Like parody is a little bit different. Like for example, PETA making a Pokemon parody, yeah, that's protected under parody laws, and the stuff that Weird Al does is protected under parody. And sure, I'm all for that. That's an important institution in U.S. discourse. But just creating a brand new game using an established IP, that's pretty blatant copyright ripoff.
Mm.
Because it's either that or you have what happened during the Atari days, where everyone was ripping off. Like you'd have like 15 different Space Invaders type games made by 15 different companies, and they were all varying levels of quality. And the whole reason why game companies are so adamant with protecting their properties is because of the stuff that led to the video game crash of the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, should game companies work with fans more on fan projects? Hell yes. Does it annoy me when fans constantly complain about like they start up a project and then it gets taken down? Like literally, like I could do a surprise Pikachu meme, kind of like start up video game project, start up fan game, Nintendo shuts it down, surprise Pikachu face.
Yeah, basically what you're saying is that they're like they have to act under the premise of give an inch, they'll go a mile. Like if they don't nip it in the bud early, it will go out of control and they'll lose all their power.
That's what will happen. Human nature, it's natural for us to test limits, and if we don't set limits, people will keep trying to inch those limits further and further and further, and before you know it, you're like, what the frick is happening?
Now, is there any way for the company to bless one project in particular and say, okay, we won't pursue you. You are within we will give you legal right to do this, but still maintain.
I've seen it happen before.
Yeah.
Like I know like the Black Mesa project. I think it has to have like some amount of official support. Not necessarily sell it, but just kind of like putting it on the launcher or something.
Yeah,
I know at one point Hideo Kojima actually gave the blessing to create a Metal Gear Solid remake, and that kind of fizzled out. But I remember hearing something about that. But like, but something that more pertains to the comic book industry is fan art. Fan art is kind of more something that falls under allowed use.
Mm-hmm.
Where allowed use is a term where it's technically you're violating copyright, but as long as the person allows it, it's fine. Like for example, if you go to a convention, you see all fan art for a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to make a statement right here, right now. Any artists out there, you want to do fan art or project access? have fun. Do whatever the frick you want. As long as you're not creating a original Project Access comic, I don't care. Do you wanna do yaoi with Gile and whatnot? Have fun. Do whatever you want. It's your stuff, and I have no problem with Project Access fan art.
Okay.
What have I done?
You have opened the floodgates.
And honestly, I'm happy to have opened them because that means more exposure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god! When I said that, I just
yeah. That is super gay, my dude.
It's super gay. It's super hyper mega gay.
Oh, you.
Oh, you dirty dog.
I think we need an intermission for you too.
Maybe.
We don't need an intermission. In fact, we
might need to ERP some heavy petting.
No intermission. In fact, we encourage you to join us.
What? What? I didn't sign up for this. What? I didn't sign up for this.
I win.
Murderer closed the door before he knew it.
Okay, that's enough traumatizing, Nick.
Yeah, I have PTSD.
PTSD? What?
Yes, the last one is
Oh.
asshole.
Oh no. Post-traumatic distress asshole.
Post-traumatic. Okay, I'm not gonna. I'm sorry. That's making fun of actual PTSD people.
Yeah.
I'm gonna reel that back in.
Oh.
Yeah, fair enough. We apologize.
For the record, we do have some standards.
Not many, but some.
Yes.
Yeah, so basically the gist of it being like we wish they would give some more freedom, or just try to work with the people who want to put in these passion projects.
For sure.
Yeah, but they do have their legal rights to do most of it.
Not just legal right, but legal obligation.
Yeah.
And I don't really have the answer for how they could work with them. I'm smart, but I'm not that smart. So,
there's a full 3D Chrono Trigger remake in the works, wasn't there? By just
yeah,
fans?
there was at one point. That's the one that everyone likes to bring up. I've seen the trailer and it was pretty good, but honestly,
stuff like
the only
that.
thing Square
We wish
could have done is work with them and they could have re-released it.
Yeah, work with these people who are clearly so into it and be like, okay, you know what? Why don't we make this an official thing? Clearly, you guys are competent with it. We'll pay you to finish the project, and we'll just have it be an officially licensed this thing.
But there's also the problem of, do they want to do a 3D remake of Chrono Trigger at this point, or are they already working on their own? Because there's a situation where, okay, so the Metroid franchise. So
yeah.
This person released a fan game called AM2R, called Another Metroid 2 Remake.
Mm-hmm.
By all accounts, it's amazing. But Nintendo did a cease and desist. And then a year or two later, they announced Metroid 2 Samus Returns for the 3DS.
Mm-hmm.
There is no... Basically, once that game was released, it was pretty obvious that Nintendo was already working on Metroid 2 at the time. They just weren't ready to announce it. And so Nintendo taking down AM2R was fully within their right, because it would have devalued the Metroid 2 remake. And it's not like they could have taken it on and released it, because they were already working on their own.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of these issues are nowhere near as black and white as people like to portray them.
Yeah, I'd like to honestly, bring up another, probably perspective on that part. You got to think about it as well. If they were to give these things to, people outside the company's technical product, what about all the people?
What about what?
Well, technically, if you were to give it to another, party or group of make one of your IPs, these guys, random whoever's on the internet are doing it. That's still less work for the people, with the in-house developers themselves.
Exactly.
What would you do for those people?
I
Yeah,
mean, you
it
could
would
make the
also
argument
create
that
ways
that
in
kind of
that way.
production would be cheaper, but at the same
Yeah.
time, like, sorry, I kind of ran out of juice there.
You're fine.
It's
Yeah,
all
I
good.
mean, to me, it sounds great, and I'm definitely on board with the passion project. It definitely would make sense to try to call these people in who are making things on free on pure adrenaline desire. But at the same
Right.
time, how do you pay these? If you're paying them for that, are you paying your initial people who you have X amount of year contracts with, working on AAA titles, are doing all these other things? How are they getting? Of course,
Right.
business.
Mm-hmm.
So people want to get paid. Now, if I'm twiddling my fingers at the desk because some guy took my, 6 months from now would have been my job, and I'm just never the wiser, still twiddling my thumbs.
Yeah, and then you have like the fan projects where for example, the people who remake Morrowind in the Skyrim engine. But Bethesda doesn't care because they're using Bethesda tools to remake a Bethesda game in another Bethesda game. So there's not really any copyright violation there as long as it's released for free. And plus, Bethesda has historically been a very mod-friendly company. Give Bethesda as much crap as you want for its current state, but they deserve a lot of respect for how they treat the mod community.
I completely agree.
Yeah, they were pretty early adopters of the whole track record.
Yeah, they really embrace the whole mod culture. Because let's be honest, Elder Scrolls games are great, but without mods, the mods bring it to a whole new level. I mean, where else could you wield the Sword of Omens as you kill a bunch of Sanics?
Yeah.
As a horde of mud crabs that look like, or horses that look like tails.
Mm-hmm. Oh, don't forget about the dapper crabs.
Oh yes, you cannot forget about that. Or in what other game can you have the Macho Man destroy Helgen? Ooh, or no, even better, the Thomas the Tank Engine mod.
Oh my god!
I watch the intro of it, and you hear in the distance, and they're and then the best part about it is it's not animated, so it just breaks through a wall and it just has that stupid face and it breathes fire. That just makes it so much more better.
I remember very lightly touching on Skyrim mod stuff, but even though I've lightly touched on it, I still know what the stuff you're talking about. It's so good.
Oh yeah, Zappa do a Slim Jim. Oh, or the shout replacements, you can replace Fustara with John Cena.
And his name is John Cena.
Yeah, so you can shout John Cena and have it be unrelenting force, or just the different amount of companions. I know in my Skyrim games, I like to mod in the Witcher companions. So I have Ciri following me, or there's one I found a Jean Grey one. So I was wandering around Skyrim with Jean Grey from X-Men.
Pretty.
I remember one to bring in Keyblades from Kingdom Hearts. That was so good.
Yeah. Or the you bring stuff in from SAO, your character wears Kirito's jacket, and you wield both swords.
Yes. Okay, hold on.
And then you pick your favorite harem member as a follower.
Yeah,
really
you just have a waifu follower.
Mm-hmm. And
Although
then all of a sudden Darth Vader appears.
Although Uthgerd will always be the best waifu.
Who?
Uthgerd.
Drawing a blank.
Okay, in Skyrim, you can go into one of the bars and you get into this fist fight with a lady. If you beat her, she'll follow you.
Oh yeah, her. Yeah, I know her.
Yeah, best wifey right there.
I was in my first playthrough, I married Camilla from the Riverwood Trader.
Hmm.
I don't know. I kind of the whole like her being an outsider. Plus, her brother got killed in a vampire attack, and I felt bad. A vampire attack I may or may not have instigated.
Oh.
Yeah, shit got dark.
You know, I feel really bad for you, lady. You wanna marry me? Yeah, I'm sure that'll be a good pick you up.
And you proposed to her right in right in front of her brother's corpse that freshly got killed. Like you just killed her brother right in front of her, and you proposed to her, and it's like, oh, I'm sure that's all right.
Oh no, you want to know a ticking time bomb? Like you kill her brother, right? So she'll be all upset and aggroed. Use the calm spell, return her to a neutral state, propose, get married, and then watch the spell wear off.
Black Widow.
Okay.
Oh, we're talking about brokenness of Skyrim. Like if you do the peace talks portion, and when everyone's at the meeting, you use the Fury spell to make everyone attack each other. And plus, most of them are unkillable, so it's just an endless battle.
Wait, won't the spell just wear off at some point, or does
I think
it
so,
get,
yeah.
or does the aggro get refreshed because they're constantly hitting each other?
I think maybe because they're in combat with each other, like maybe a few people might go, but then they like, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. God, that would be awful.
Yeah, I know from my original playthrough, I sided with Parthenax, and I had a mod that allowed me to make people non-essential.
Mm-hmm.
So all the Blades members that were not essential, I made them non-essential, and then I just went into Sky Retold and just slaughtered everyone. Like, how dare you make me kill Parthenax? How dare you make me kill Mario?
I should
You know that, right?
What was that?
Parthenax is voiced by Charles Martinet.
No, actually, I didn't know any of that.
Parthenax is voiced by Mario.
It somehow doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Before we start rambling off even more, Nick, do we have any more topics?
Just one more.
Was it?
My review of Spider-Man and Stranger Things.
Oh God.
Stranger Danger.
Stranger Thingers.
That sounds about right. All right, so I saw Spider-Man: Far From Home last Friday, and overall, I thought it was good. Still a Raimi fanboy. I still feel like there's a lot of problems with these movies. Ultimately, I feel like the new Spider-Man movies, while good, they're not Spider-Man movies. They're Iron Man movies. Because the whole crux of Peter's character is his relationship with Iron Man. And this film was no different. Like, literally, Iron Man steals the spotlight from Peter, and he's dead.
Yeah, I remember you briefly told me. I remember you briefly brought this up to me, like in our own time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, by the way, spoilers for Endgame.
Oh no.
So it's all about like what who's gonna be the next Iron Man, and blah blah blah. And the worst part is, you could say Spider-Man is the Superman of the Marvel universe. So like, and Spider-Man films have been standing on their own for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just annoying that like you have this Peter Parker. Like, Tom Holland is great. I think he's a good kind of middle ground between Toby and Andrew. Because Toby was a better Peter Parker and an adequate Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield was a better Spider-Man and an adequate Peter Parker. Tom Holland is really kind of like the best of both worlds. Still a Raimi fanboy.
Mm-hmm.
They did continue the tradition of relatable villains to a point. I feel like he's not as good as Vulture. Vulture is probably one of the best comic book villains to come out in the last 5 years. Fight me. I will defend Vulture to my dying breath. The fact that he's played by Batman has nothing to do with it.
Sure.
I just feel like these films are very watered down. I mean, these films aren't bad. By no means are they bad. I would, if I were to give this film a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably give it a 7.2. A good film, above average by MCU standards. You will most likely enjoy it.
Okay.
As far as Stranger Things, I was pretty hyped for season 3, and it really had nothing to do on July 4th. And let me just say this: there are 8 episodes. I watched them all in one day. So let that kind of
And how long are the episodes each?
an hour long.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Spoiler alert: 9 out of 10.
Is 9 out of 10 really a spoiler?
It's a spoiler for my review.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Like, yeah, it was really great. It had a different feel to it. They kind of took more of a John Hughes kind of sitcom kind of aspect. Like they upped the comedic, felt a little cartoony here and there. The characters were great. The story was good. Some of my favorite like story arcs for characters was definitely Billy, though I can't really say why because that would be a spoiler, a huge one.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the only really they outed at least one character, maybe another, and I feel like both times they really did that well. Like it was the kind of thing where they treated the moment as like a kind of like a revealing aspect of the characters, but it was more just like a part of their character. And they never came out. Neither person who they outed, they never came out and said I'm gay. It was more just very well written dialogue, and I feel like they handled it very well. And I'm excited to see where things go with that. This season kind of really it was like one of those seasons that destroys a lot of the status quo, so like you wonder how things are going to be next season.
Gotcha. It kind of takes what's established, throws it up in the air a bit to like keep it, interesting. Like, oh, the next season isn't going to be more of the same.
Yeah, like some characters die. One of the characters that you think they die might be coming back, because it was kind of a combination of you didn't see them die, and also post-credit hints.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
The teases.
Also the climax. There's this one moment where like they're going through like a tense climax. Like one group is being chased by this monster in a car. The other group's trying to infiltrate a base and they need this code. And in the middle of it, they go into a song routine because one of the characters has to contact someone for this kind of like a password because it's like a mathematical thing. And so they make them sing a song, and it goes into a whole basically musical sequence where these two are singing the song together, and the rest of the people can hear it over the radio. And under lesser people, it would be like, what the heck are they doing? But it's just you're laughing the entire time because they cut back to be like, you literally have one group who's being chased by this monster. You can see the monster chasing him in the background, And the guy kind of makes a gesture of like, I don't know. And like everyone else is just like, what the heck is happening? Like, why this? Like, just their reactions to it, because like their reactions are your reactions, and it just makes the sequence.
Mm-hmm. Oh, speaking of why, apparently they're doing a live action Mulan now.
I saw the trailer. That didn't look half bad.
Yeah, I haven't seen the trailer. I've only heard that they're doing it, but
Also,
yeah.
Also, given how the reaction to the Mulan trailer was pretty subdued, I can see now why Disney is doing what they're doing with Ariel. Yeah, we're talking about it. I feel like Disney is only really doing this to get people angry.
Oh, you mean how Ariel's African American?
Mm-hmm. I feel like this is kind of stunt casting. I feel like the people who are angry, they kind of I can understand why they're angry. Personally, I don't really care that much because I probably wasn't never going to see the movie anyway. But ultimately, I think it's pretty obvious that Disney did this for the publicity, because their live action movies, they're not really doing. I mean, I don't know like the exact numbers, but like given off of like basically these movies, they come out and then people talk about them for a week and then they're forgotten about. Whereas like a Marvel movie comes out, people are talking about it for at least that month. You know, Star Wars, you know, people talk about it for half a year, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And in this online world, the name of the game is engagement.
Well, I mean, like, my opinion on the whole thing is like, the issue is that we haven't seen the movie yet. As much as it sucks, we do have to give the benefit of the doubt, because it's possible this girl is just the perfect Ariel, and it just so happens that she's African American.
I mean, okay. Honestly, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I kind of disagree, because there's really not much to Ariel. Like, literally half of the movie, she's not even speaking. Like, heck, if they really wanted to cast an authentic Ariel, they could just go into one of their parks and pluck one of the cast members out.
Yeah. Boy, that would be a dream for them, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be.
I
guess it would. Wait, sorry, I have to do this. I guess it would be a dream for them to be part of that world.
Oh, that was awful.
I'm sorry, you set me up.
I did no such thing. That was all you.
Yes, you opened the door for me.
No.
You opened the door, and I was like, "Don't mind if I do."
Yeah, I don't know. I still stick by that. We should just hold off until the movie actually comes out, and then we can see, like, okay, is this girl actually good, or was she literally just the publicity?
I mean, ultimately, that is the ultimate arbiter, I will admit. But I have serious doubts. Like, really? Like, you couldn't have hired... Like, for example, if you're casting off a red hair, the woman who played Rose Leslie, the woman who played Ygritte on Game of Thrones,
mm-hmm.
She is a hell of an actress. And she's naturally a redhead. I guarantee you, she would have done a much better job than this person they hired. This random.
Can she sing?
She can be taught.
Mm.
And honestly, Emma Watson didn't know how to sing, and they found a way anyway.
Fair enough.
I mean, if you listen to her songs in the Disney stuff, it's very clearly auto-tuned.
Yeah, clearly not really authentic.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, going back to like Mulan, Mulan was like one of my favorites as a child, like of the Disney masterpieces.
Let's get down to business.
Yeah, but I don't know. So many of the live action Disney films have just been like, eh. So I see another one, and it's like, eh.
I think the only one I've ever seen was Beauty and the Beast, and that one was okay.
No, see, I saw Beauty and the Beast as well, but I just remember being so bored. Like, just going, oh, okay, now they're
Because like
doing
the
this.
problem is the movies they straight say. The problem is that these movies largely are like a celluloid copy of the animated stuff, and the stuff they do change are people like why the heck did you change that? That didn't need to be changed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a somewhat of a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of situation, which
Yeah.
I can get the kind of bind this is in.
Yeah, but then there's also the issue with these live action ones, anyways, where, and I'm gonna harp on Beauty and the Beast again because it's really the only one that I like really sat through and watched the whole way. The other ones I
Yeah,
kind of
same
went,
here.
eh. But like the biggest issue I actually had with the Beauty and the Beast was the castle, like the design of the set. Like, yes, it's a very elaborate design, and the individual pieces look really, really nice. But when I think back to it, it's just a golden wash of angles and shapes. Like it just kind of blends too hard. But you think back to the 2D animated castle, and it's like there were very, very clearly distinct, like, there was the red carpeting, and yeah, I'm sure there was a fair bit of gold whatever on the walls, but it didn't kind of all blend together. I feel like that's an issue that a lot of these movies are having.
Yeah, that a lot of that comes down to a mixture of set design and also lighting. Because like Beauty and the Beast was lit very dark. Like I think they were trying to amp up the spookiness of it. But if you look back at the original Beauty and the Beast, like the lighting, even in the dark scenes, are actually pretty bright.
Yeah, there was a lot of primary colors in the original Beauty and the Beast, wasn't there?
Yeah, I mean the difference is that like Beauty and the Beast was made by a bunch of by some of the best animators to ever exist in their prime, and I mean, by the time Beauty and the Beast came out, the animation renaissance was already well in full swing, so they had the system in place. I think Beauty and the Beast was done by Glenn Keane, who is like one of the best animators of our day. Like Glenn Keane is like one of the best animators. I mean, he's one of the best of all time, but like he's probably one of the best still living and still somewhat active. And it was made by a bunch of really talented people who are at the top of their game, and it shows. Kind of like it's the same reason why the Pixar films aren't really doing as good, because like people like John Lasseter isn't there, but I mean, kind of good riddance, he's gone. I mean, did you hear about some of the stuff that John Lasseter did?
No, I haven't.
Like he basically got Me Too'd. Now I'm normally again. I feel like Me Too is largely a witch hunt, but like hearing some of the stuff that like, it wasn't just like one person that said stuff about him. It was dozens of people. So at that point, I'm like, okay, yeah, get that creep out of there, But yeah, he would give random people like hugs or just like shoulder rubs and just generally be very creepy. Can't remember the exact stuff, but it was like pretty bad. Yeah, so like John Lasseter, he's really talented, but he had to go.
That's a shame.
Yeah, I think Brad Bird still does stuff with Disney, because he did Incredibles 2, which I think Incredibles 2 was actually pretty good. I mean, it's a movie that's a sequel to like a movie that came out like 15 years prior. Like, it had every reason to be bad, but as a direct follow-up, I think they did great.
I don't know. See, like, I actually tried sitting through and watching The Incredibles, but I don't know. There's something about it that just was kind of boring to me, and it felt like
it helps. For me, it helps that I'm an Incredibles fan.
Yeah.
Incredibles is my favorite Pixar movie, and I've been anticipating a sequel for some time.
Oh no, like I really liked the first Incredibles as well. I kind of felt like it was retreading a lot of old ground, though, wasn't it? Like the whole, Bob taking on a new job when their family's in dire straits. oh, and now everything's going great, but something's off about it.
I don't know. I think we watched 2 different movies.
Maybe I'm just remembering it horribly wrong or something.
Because like basically the Incredibles 2, it takes place right where it left off, and Helen is the one doing the superheroics, and Bob has to be a Mr. Mom. And the first movie was I'm trying to think of the themes. Was about like a family coming together, and also like if everyone like one person being revenged because he got jilted. Well, this one, it's more the theme of Incredibles 2 is more about consumption, media consumption, and do we really need heroes? I mean, it's kind of an evolution of the theme of the first one. Yeah. Because Incredibles 2, the villain's motivation was their dad had a direct line to heroes, but when a person broke in, they could have gone to the safe room, but instead he tried to call the heroes and they got killed because of it. And so, like the main villain screenslaver, he's all preaching about like the dangers of standing in front of a television and letting it control your lives, which is a message not like I love how they frame it through 1950s, but that kind of sentiment is really just as valid today.
If not more so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of on me because I didn't actually watch through the whole thing. I think I would have to watch through it again.
Yeah, like honestly, a lot of the stuff the film does, it flips stuff on its head. Like for example, the climax is the kids rescuing the parents. You know, Helen is now the one doing the superheroics, and you have Bob. A lot of the stuff is his trials and being a Mr. Mom. You know, I thought like, okay, that was a cool flip. Flip the genders. I was like, okay, cool. Yeah. This has been nice, but we might want to think about wrapping this up, though.
Yeah, we definitely should, because we've been going for an hour and 27 minutes now.
I don't know how we did it, but we somehow managed to do it. So, right. Next week, if all goes well, we will be live. 8 o'clock. Now, oh my god, Jason, I hate you so much.
All right. For those of you who can't see it, Jason just typed "this rocks" in the chat right underneath the picture of a rock. God damn it, Jason.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. So basically the schedule from here on out is every Friday at 8 we'll broadcast live for an hour and a half. It seems we have a lot to talk about, so hour and a half it is. Jason probably will not be there, but he'll probably pop up at some point at the most inconvenient time. I said close the door.
Okay.
But thank you everyone for stopping by. Hopefully this podcast will in the next few days will be on the podcast services, so you can listen to me saying a billion times while you work out. Mm-hmm. This is Nick Gibson, and remember, I can only show you the door. You're the one that has to walk through it.
Jason, any parting words?
Oh, Doyle rule!
Any parting words, Garrison?
Blat.
Thank you. Come again.
All right, we good?
Yep.
All right, later.